Hello everyone, welcome back to the session of English. In this session, we are going to continue with our chapter Comprehension Ability. Now, this is part number 19. In this session, we are going to discuss passage number 23. In fact, in this session, we are going to discuss passage number 23 as well as questions based on passage number 23 with solutions. So, first, we'll read the entire passage and after that, we'll attempt the questions. It is only up to you whether you want to read the passage first or start doing the questions first. But it is my suggestion to you all that in such exams you will have enough time. So this is suggestible to you all that first read the entire passage and after that go to the questions and start attempting them, because if you have read the entire passage first, you may have an idea about the passage of the theme, about the theme of the passage. Moreover, you will be able to locate or you will be able to find out the exact location of the keywords which is the requirement of the question. So let us start reading the passage first and after that we'll go to the questions. So this is very small paragraph. So let us start reading the entire passage first and after that we'll do the questions. What is the future which awaits our children? The underlying assumption of the question that Indian children have a common future is itself dubious. Dubious means doubtful. So they are asking, or they have initiated the passage, they have started the passage with a question, and the question is, what is the future which awaits our children? It means, what is the future of our children? The underlying assumption of the question that Indian children have common future is itself dubious means doubtful, because we know well that in India there is inequality of income, and where some children are there who belong to those families which are very rich, and some below poverty line, or which are very poor, or which are below poverty line, or which are normal, like middle class we have. So itself is a dubious, because every student or every child in this country, they will not get the same opportunity. He will not get the same opportunity or same type of opportunity. Maybe a person is very intelligent but he does not have money. Maybe a person who has money, he's not that much intelligent or that much diverted or dedicated to his studies or all. So there is actually a lot of discrimination, or you can say disbalance in case of the situation or the stability of the children. So we cannot say that all the children of India, they will have the equal or the same future as well. So it's itself dubious. It means doubtful. It can legitimately be asked. Legitimately means lawfully be asked whether a student who is well fed, attending a boarding school in a salubrious climate. Salubrious means neat and clean. Okay, in a neat and clean climate. Okay, so be asked, okay, clean climate of the hills and learning to use computers has any future in common with a malnourished child who goes to school with no blackboards, if indeed he does go to school. Now, this is a very important line over here. It is lawfully asked, or it can be lawfully asked, whether a student who is well fed, it means a person, a child who is well fed, it means he has no shortage of food, or he's attending boarding schools, he's living in the salubrious climate, it means where all the things are neat and clean, and on the hills, and learning to use computers, he's also learning computers, has any future. So you can say it is not common. It cannot be common with those students or those children who are malnourished. It means they are not fed properly. They don't get even the food for the even the 3 meals for the entire day. Who goes to school with no blackboards? They go to school in such schools where there are no blackboards even. It means their their quality of education is very poor. And if indeed they go to school, it means it is also doubtful that whether they are going to school or not. Okay, so here both of these types of students, one who has brought in a rich family or who has been brought in a poor or the poorest family, they cannot have the common future, or they cannot be imagined with the common future. The letter means the second one. Okay, letter means the second one. May have no worthwhile future at all. It means worthwhile means deserving, or you can say uh, according to the you can say the worth. Okay, so worthwhile future at all. And it might be worthwhile to analyze the significance of this marginalization of more than 75% of the children of this country. It means it is not only for that particular student, it means it is the situation for at least 75% of the students of the or the children of the country. So the ratio is very you can say very big, because it is according 25 to 75. Okay, so 25 only rich and 75 the poor or the poorest. Okay, the failure to provide an infrastructure for primary education in the villages of India more than 40 years after independence. You can say here it has been the failure to provide an infrastructure for primary education in the villages. It means there is no proper infrastructure as well for the primary education, though they are government schools in the villages of India more than 40 years after independence. It means it has been more than 40 years after independence, and yet we do not have proper infrastructure for primary education in the villages or in rural areas. Is in sharp contrast. It is in sharp contrast. It means totally opposite, sharp contrast with the sophisticated institutions. On the other hand, we can see the sophisticated institutions which are developed properly for those who are technical students who are rich, for technical institutes of higher education are funded by government. Now both of these sectors, whether they are primary schools and the technical institutes which are basically governed by government or funded by government, both are funded by government, yet the primary education infrastructure is not well, whereas or not good, whereas the institutions, the technically institutions which are funded by government, they are good. So there is a lot of difference. Both are there you can see a lot of difference. They both are funded by the government. Still the primary education schools which are located in the rural areas, they are not well developed. On the other hand, if we talk about the technical institutes, they are, which essentially means that the money to support them comes from taxes. It means this is properly known that the fund which comes to support them comes from the taxes. Now we know well that India has two types of policy of taxes. One is direct taxes and other one is indirect taxes. Indirect taxes are those taxes which are basically, you can say, bear by all the people. Okay, so as you can see, if you purchase any item, if you purchase any commodity, like if you purchase a cold drink, butter, bread, etc., because these are necessary things, and on each and everything you are paying some GST or some tax. Okay, so that is also the case of tax which is borne by everyone. So therefore basically income tax is borne by only those people who comes under the slab, whereas some taxes are there which are borne by every person, which are indirect taxes, which essentially means that the money to support them comes from the taxes. And since indirect taxation forms a substantial part of the taxes collected by the government, the financial burden is borne by all the people. It is actually that burden which is borne by all the people. It means each and every person, though he is living below the poverty, still he is paying that indirect tax. Because if he is purchasing even a single matchstick box, he is paying some tax, that is indirect tax. So it is borne by that person as well. Though he does not come under any slab of the tax, still he is paying that indirect tax. So this is the taxation policy of India. L.K. Jha put it graphically when he observed that 25 paise of every rupee, it means 25%. Okay, spent on education and IIT student comes from the pockets of men and women whose children may never enter proper classroom as well. It means 25 paise of every rupee that is funded to the IIT student. It comes from the pocket of those parents who have never sent their child even for the study, or even to the schools, even for the proper classrooms. Still, they are feeding, or they are providing money to that IITian. Those who cannot even bear the you can say the expense for their own child. Okay. And this is actually the inequality of income, as well as the discrimination of the education as well. Okay. So now this is really a good you can say a paragraph which really depicts something which is informative as well. In fact, this is something which everyone should look into. So let us read the questions now. Let us start doing the questions now. So first of all, let me delete all these things that we have written over here. Now we'll do the questions. So the first question is, the author is trying to highlight which of the following. So here they have asked about the author's mentality, or author, what the author is trying to highlight which of the following. The options are the greatness of LK Jha, the need to have common future for Indian children, need of sophisticated education for rural poor, rural people, faulty system of direct taxes. Now they want what the author trying to highlight, that need to have common future for Indian children. He just wants to have the common future for Indian children. It means they all should have the common future, whether they are very rich or whether they are very poor, or they are poor. So the correct answer will be B, need to have common future for Indian children. So the author is trying to highlight this only, as you can see over here as well, that they should have the common future, because itself it is a WS, and they want common future for the Indian children. Okay. So now let us move to the next question. And the next question is, what seems to be likely answer of the author to the question posed by him in the first sentence of the passage? What is the question? What is the future which awaits our children? So the answer, the options are, there is no common future for the Indian children. There is future worthwhile for majority of Indian children. The future is worthwhile for majority of Indian children. The majority may never enter a proper classroom. Now, if you see these three, so these are not complete options. The complete options are only A, only B, only C, or both B and C. It means which of the option is correct. Okay. Now, first of all, let us see the first one. There is no common future for Indian children. Yes, it is simple. That itself is WS, and we can say, if we see the first paragraph, okay, it can be legitimately be asked whether a student who is well fed, attending a boarding school in the salubrious climate of the hills, and learning to use computers has any future in common with a malnourished child goes to a school with no blackboards, if indeed he does go to a school. The latter may have no worthwhile future at all. So, and it might be worthwhile to analyze the significance of the marginalization of more than 75% of the children of this country. So from this line, from this paragraph, we can say that there is no common future for the Indian children. So A statement is correct. Now let us look for the B. The future is worthwhile for majority of Indian children, whereas we can say there is no worthwhile future for the 75% of all the children of this country. It means majority has no worthwhile future. So B statement is incorrect. If A is correct and B is not correct, we cannot say B and C correct. So let us look for the C statement as well. So two answers will be wrong over here, B and D. Now let us look for the C statement. The majority may never enter a proper classroom. But we do not have option A and C. So only one can be the answer, that is only A. So only A will be the correct answer. Okay. So our answer will be A. According to options, as we can see, it has written only A, only B, or only C. We know well that A is the correct answer. A is the correct statement. B is not the correct statement. If B is not the correct statement, only B will not be the answer. Also, both B and C will not be the correct answer, because B is not the correct answer. And We are not given B, A and C option, so only A option will be correct according to the context of the passage. So here answer will be A. Now let us move to the next one. And the next question is, which of the following pairs have been termed as sharp contrast by the author? As you can see this word in the second paragraph, this is sharp contrast. The failure to provide an infrastructure for many primary education in the villages of India more than 40 years after independence is in sharp contrast with the sophisticated institutions. For technical institutes of higher education are funded by government, which essentially means that the money to support them comes from the taxes. And since indirect taxation forms a substantial part of the taxes collected by the government, the financial burden is borne by all of the people. So let us see the options. Infrastructure, now we have 5 options over here. Infrastructure for technical education. So sharp contrast between infrastructure for technical education, lack of infrastructure for rural primary schools, 25 paise of every rupee earned by government is spent on education. The financial burden of higher technical education is borne by all people, and 75% of the children have limited opportunities. Now, it is actually the failure to provide an infrastructure for primary education. 2, they are sharp contrast with the collected by the government, and the financial burden is borne by all the people. So the financial burden of higher technical education is borne by all people. So this is actually the sharp contrast. So answer will be 2 and 4, 2 and 3, 3 and 4. So we can see lack of infrastructure. We should have 2 things. Okay. First one is lack of infrastructure for primary education. 2, the financial burden is borne by all people. So it will be 2 and 4. Okay. And 2 and 4 will be the option number A. Now let us look for the another as well. 2 and 3. 25 paise of every rupee earned by government is spent on education. No, it is spent on IIT students. So 2 and 3 cannot be the answer. 3 and 4. No, 3 is not actually the answer. So we cannot say 3 and 4. First and second, infrastructure for technical education. No, they have proper infrastructure. We are talking about infrastructure for primary education. So it will be 2 and 4. So the correct answer will be A. This is very, very simple. Again, it is directly given in the passage. The failure to provide an infrastructure for primary education, and the financial burden is borne by all the people. So these 2 are in sharp contrast with each other. So let us move to the next question. And the next question is, according to the author, who among the following does not have a hopeful and prosperous future? Now let us see. All students from technical institutes, all students financially supported by the government. Now, if we see all students from technical institutes, which does not have a hopeful and prosperous future. Okay, so we are talking about who among the following does not have a hopeful and prosperous future. Now let us see the options. Only A, only B, both A and B, and neither A or nor B. So if we talk about all students from technical institutes, it is not given anywhere. As we can see that for technical people, they get government funding, and for example, IIT student comes from the pockets of the men. It means from the taxes fund they get money. So we cannot say all the students from technical institutes, they will not get the hopeful and prosperous future. They may get the hopeful and prosperous future. All students financially supported by the government. Yes, we can see that all the students financially supported by the government, they may not have the proper you can say future, because if we talk about the but here it is given all students financially supported, whereas in this line we can say that both are funded by the government, but there is a sharp contrast. Well, because if we talk about the primary education students and from villages, and we talk about technical institutes for higher education, both are funded by the government, but technical institutes, they have proper future, whereas if we talk about the students of the schools or the primary education in the villages, they do not have proper future. So I think neither A nor B will be the correct answer, because it is actually, as you can see over here, in this line, failure to provide. Okay, Alkeja put it graphically. Okay, it is for the future. Now let us see if the word future is at. Oh yes, the letter may have no worthwhile future at all. Okay, here it is given. The letter means the second one, and the second one are those students who are malnourished, who do not go to school, who go to school if they do not have blackboards, even the blackboards. So it means they have poor quality of education. Therefore neither A nor B will be the correct answer. Okay, so our answer will be D, that is neither A nor B. Because if we talk about only A, we cannot say that, because the failure to provide an infrastructure for primary education in the villages of India more than 40 years after independence is in sharp contrast with the sophisticated institutes for technical institutes of higher education are funded by government, which essentially means that the money support to them comes from the taxes. So they obviously get money or the financial support, and they have proper infrastructure as well. So obviously they have the proper future, they can have the proper future, whereas other students, they cannot have the proper future because they do not get much help as they require. So answer will be D. Now let us move to the next question. And the next question is, which of the following statements is not true? Not true means they are asking about the false statement. If they are asking about the not true statement, you have to see this very carefully, that whether they asked the true statement or the not true statement, it means they are asking about the false statement. So in this question, we will be given some statements. We will have to find out whether which statement among these statements is incorrect according to the context of the passage. So here we have three statements. So further options will be given to us. So only A, only B, only C, or only A and B. So let us see each and every statement, or examine each and every statement one by one. First of all, A statement is the author welcomes government's initiative on primary education. Now, which type of initiative? No initiative has been given to us. Okay. 75 of the children have a bright future, whereas it is written the letter may have no worthwhile future at all, and it might be worthwhile to analyze the significance of this marginalization of more than 75% of the children of this country. It means they do not have proper future at all. So A statement and B statement, both the statements are incorrect. If they are incorrect, so only A is incorrect, only B is incorrect, and D option is also incorrect. So remaining option is C. 25% cost of educating a technocrat comes from poor people. Yes, of course. Okay. Sorry. They are asking about the not true statement. Okay. They are asking about the not true statement. So if we talk about both of these, the author welcomes government's initiative on primary education. So 25% cost of educating a technocrat comes from poor people. Yes, here it is written in the last line, 25 paise of every rupee spent on education. It means 25%. Okay, so C statement is correct, whereas A and B are incorrect. So they have asked about the not true statement. It means this is very simple. Only A and B will be the correct answer, as both of these statements, only A and B, both of these statements are incorrect. So our answer will be D. This is very, very simple. Here we have two statements which are incorrect, which are directly given in the passage. We can read them directly. And if we have read the entire passage, we may have an idea, yes, that these two statements are incorrect. And we know well that the last statement is absolutely correct. So here we have been asked about the not true statements, or the false or the incorrect statements. So of course, A and B both are not correct or not true statements. So our answer will be D. Now let us move to the next question. Okay, now this was the last question of this passage. I hope you understood each and every question very well. Now what else we can do in this, that if we see all the words, may be possible you will be asked, or you can be asked about the words as well. So you have to read each and every word, and you should know the meaning of each and every word as well. So I hope this passage was very good and quite easy. I hope you understood the each and every question of this passage very well. Thanks to you.